Political tension surrounding Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment trial has entered a more complicated phase after Senator Rodante Marcoleta, one of her known allies in the Senate, became the subject of a non-bailable plunder case just days before the trial is expected to formally begin. At the center of the controversy is a question that now carries both legal and political weight. If Marcoleta is arrested or prevented from joining the proceedings, could his absence affect the number of votes needed to convict the vice president? For now, the answer remains disputed. But the issue has already sharpened the battle lines between those pushing for Duterte's conviction and those who believe the proceedings are being shaped by political maneuvering. Marcoleta is facing a plunder case filed by the Office of the Ombudsman before the Sandiganbayan. The case is linked to alleged undeclared campaign contributions worth Romani $5 million, which authorities say were not properly reported in his campaign finance documents and asset declarations. The Ombudsman also filed additional charges related to the alleged acceptance of gifts by a public officer. The Office of the Ombudsman said the evidence includes 3 cash donations totaling 75 million peso. The case has immediately become more than a corruption issue because Marcoleta is a sitting senator and because the Senate will act as the impeachment court in the trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. His legal troubles now intersect with one of the biggest political cases in the country. Marcoleta's supporters argue that the timing is suspicious. They believe the case is designed to weaken the vice president's defense inside the Senate by removing a senator who may be sympathetic to her. His allies say the move is part of a broader political pressure campaign against figures aligned with the Duterte camp. On the other side, House prosecutors and their advisors reject that claim. They argue that Marcoleta's case is separate from the impeachment proceedings and should be treated as an independent legal matter. Robert Ace Barber said, "I don't think it has value." He was referring to the argument that the case against Marcoleta should affect the impeachment process. For the prosecution side, the message is clear. As senators, separate legal problems should not delay, derail, or delegitimize the impeachment trial of the vice president. But the numbers tell a more sensitive story. Under the 1987 Philippine Constitution, the Senate has the sole power to try and decide impeachment cases. The Constitution also states that no official can be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of all members of the Senate. Since the Senate has 24 members, that threshold is generally understood to mean 16 votes for conviction. That is why Marcoleta's possible absence matters. If all 24 senators are counted, the prosecution still needs 16 votes to convict Duterte. But if some senators are absent, detained, in hiding, or unable to participate, a debate may emerge over whether the threshold should remain fixed at 16 or be adjusted based only on those who are actually able to sit as senator judges. This is where the political danger lies. Supporters of Vice President Duterte would likely insist that the Constitution is clear. 2/3 of all Senate members means 2/3 of the full 24-member chamber, not 2/3 of whoever happens to be present. Under that view, even if Marcoleta is detained, the conviction threshold remains 16. But some voices from the prosecution side have raised a different question. They ask whether it would be fair or practical to count senators who cannot participate in the trial. If a senator is in jail, abroad, absent, or otherwise unable to sit, should that person still be included in the denominator when calculating the required votes? That question may sound technical, but it could decide the political future of Vice President Sara Duterte. If the threshold remains 16, the prosecution faces a difficult path. Duterte does not need a majority to survive. She only needs enough senators to block conviction. In a 24-member Senate, 9 votes against conviction or even a combination of opposition and non-participation could be enough to prevent her removal. If the threshold is lowered because 1 or more senators cannot participate, the prosecution's burden could become easier. That is why Marcoleta's possible arrest has become such a sensitive issue. The impeachment case itself is already historic. Vice President Sara Duterte, one of the most powerful political figures in the Philippines and a leading name for the 2028 presidential race, has been impeached by the House of Representatives, She's accused of serious wrongdoing, including alleged misuse of public funds, unexplained wealth, and threats against President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the First Lady, and a former House Speaker. Duterte denies the allegations. Her camp has repeatedly described the process as politically motivated, arguing that the impeachment case is designed to destroy her chances before the next presidential election. Sara Duterte's legal team said, "We are fully prepared to defend the vice president." That statement reflects the posture of a defense. They are preparing for a long, high-stakes battle inside the Senate, where the outcome will not only determine Duterte's current office, but also her future in national politics. If convicted, Vice President Duterte would be removed from office and could could be barred from holding public office again. That would be a major blow to the Duterte political dynasty and would dramatically reshape the 2028 presidential race. But conviction is far from guaranteed. The Senate has become a political battlefield of its own. Leadership changes, bloc movements, and legal controversies involving senators have all created uncertainty about how the trial will unfold. Senator Shireen Gatalian is now Senate president following a leadership change that removed Alan Peter Cayetano, a Duterte ally, from the top Senate post. That shift happened just weeks before the opening of the impeachment trial. The trial is expected to begin on July 6th, with the Senate sitting as an impeachment court. Vice President Duterte has been directed to appear either personally or through counsel. The public opening of the trial will mark the formal start of a process that could stretch for weeks or even months, depending on the evidence, motions, witnesses, and political maneuvers inside the chamber. Marcoleta's situation adds another layer of uncertainty. Authorities have said that any arrest must be based on a court order. Earlier, the Philippine National Police denied that it had received any special order to arrest him. PNP Chief Gen Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. said, "We do not act on rumors or unverified information." That statement was meant to calm speculation before the case was formally filed. But now that the ombudsman has brought the Plunder case to the Sandigan Bayan, attention is turned to whether the anti-graft court will issue a warrant of arrest and what happens if Marcoleta is detained. Because Plunder is treated as a serious, non-bailable offense when the evidence of guilt is strong, the legal consequences could be immediate and severe. If Marcoleta is arrested and unable to participate in the impeachment court, the Senate will have to confront not only his absence, but also the constitutional question of how many votes are needed to convict. This is why analysts say the possible arrest could affect the political math of the impeachment trial, even if it does not directly affect the legal merits of the case against Vice President Duterte. There are two separate tracks moving at the same time. The first is the criminal case against Marcoleta that will be handled by the Sandigan Bayan based on the evidence presented by the ombudsman and the defense raised by Marcoleta and his co-accused. The second is the impeachment trial of Vice President Duterte. That will be handled by the Senate, sitting not as a regular legislative chamber, but as an impeachment court. In theory, Marcoleta's Plunder case and Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment trial are separate. But in practice, they are politically connected because every senator matters. In an impeachment trial, a senator is not just a lawmaker. A senator becomes a judge. That means every absence, legal case, or political shift can affect the final vote. For Duterte's camp, the concern is that cases against friendly senators could weaken her support. For the prosecution side, no senator should be protected from accountability just because an impeachment trial is approaching. That is the center of the controversy. Is Marcoleta's case a genuine anti-corruption move or a political action that could influence the impeachment vote? As the July 6th trial approaches, the country is watching both the Senate and the Sandigan Bayan. If Marcoleta participates, the trial follows one political equation. If he is arrested or unable to sit, the Senate may face a constitutional fight over the conviction threshold. The impeachment case is already historic, but Marcoleta's situation has made it even more unpredictable. The legal question is about votes. The political question is about power, and the number that could decide everything remains: 16. Whether that number stays fixed or becomes another legal battle may shape not only Sara Duterte's future, but also Philippine politics heading into 2028.